Hi there, so welcome to Something Saturday again. And last week I said that I was using the, can't remember what they're called now, Tulip Fields Dies, Tulip Fields Stamp set. There you go, I can get it out, I can do this, Heather. And I said that there was dies, and I showed you the dies, and I said, oh, I might do something with that next week. So here we are, it's next week. So let's get into it. All right, bye. All right. So these are the dies that I was showing you last week. And if you remember, well, if you were here, that is the card that we made sort of ad hoc last week. And so this is the card I wanted to show you today. How cool is that? Hopefully, if I move it up here and hold on a second. There we go. So you can see that's better. You can see it's got clouds in the background, and then it's got this spinny bit on top. I know, it's just one of those things that I can't help just playing with it now. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and show you how I made it. All right, I'm going to take a seat now that, oh, whoops, sorry, hopefully you're not too wobbly up there. Right, what I've done is I've actually pre-cut everything just so that I'm pretty sure most of you know how to die cut, and if you don't, please say so in the comments and I will do a video on how to do die cuts. Right, so I have my little pile. I did discover that these are very fragile. So as you can see, it's already bending. So that's why I've actually cut two and then I've layered them on top of each other. So let's actually go ahead and do that. I will pop my glasses on because it is so much easier to see when I have my glasses on, surprisingly enough. Let's shove some glue in the corner. So I'm using the, now they call it multi-purpose liquid glue, but I call it Tombow and most people call it Tombow. It's just that Stampin' Up don't. On their website, they don't call it that, which is jolly awkward of them. But there you go. And let's just go ahead. So I'm using just a sponge that I dedicate towards being a glue sponge. And let me just bring in my spare bit of paper and hope that this doesn't stick to my finger. Oh, come on, move out the way. Gee, I don't need to take forever over this because the glue does have a certain amount of wiggle room, but after a while it... And of course my fingers are now nice and gluey. Come on, please. Okay, I didn't say it was easy, but it is doable. All right, there we go, we're on. Now I have glue all over my fingers, so excuse the fact that I'm just going to rub that off. There. Yeah. I actually wonder whether it would cut through two bits of cardstock at the same time. That might have been a much better way of doing it. Well, if you decide to have a go at this, I recommend you put two bits of cardstock together, glue them together, and then cut it. And potentially it might make it a heck of a lot easier. Who knows? However, the other thing I have done is I've actually just cut myself a small circle of acetate. And I'm going to add that to the back just to give these little joints here just a little bit more stability because they really are fragile. So let's just do that and shove that on, and we will leave that to dry. Okay, this is looking nice and gluey now, isn't it? Ooh, yay! Let's put everything else over there. So the next thing we need to do is glue our windmill to our windmill. So the body, the house part. I'm not really sure what you would call it. If you can hear the sort of like tapping that sounds like rain, it's actually not rain, it's just that Tom puts the sprinkler on the roof because it's so hot. So not the roof to my craft room, I hasten to add, but the roof to our house, and my craft room is right next to our house. So hence the fact I can hear it and you might be able to hear it. And okay, so this one, let's just attach that to that. And that was so much easier. Obviously you can't attach two bits and cut that one out. All right. Oh, and apparently my pieces are now getting sort of attached to there. All right. So now that this has dried off, what I have done is I've actually just taken some of this off because it actually was quite obvious when I looked at it with the circle. So I figured if I took off a little bit of it, just those pieces there, then it wasn't quite so obvious. And the last corner. And there it is. Let's take all of these little pieces and get rid of those, and I really hope that you can actually see what I'm doing here. I might just move those out of the way slightly so I can bring this hopefully more into the center, because I'll be really peeved if I get to the end of this video and watch it and go, oh, you know what, nothing is showing in the video. That would be really annoying. All right, so in this you also have some cloud dies. You will find, let me just grab the stamp set again. You will find that the tree has a die that cuts it out. The little windmill has a die that cuts it out. The two clouds have dies that cut them out. These weird little tree things here, whatever they're meant to be, also have a die that cuts them out, which is somewhere around here. There. And then the other dies, so this one here does not cut out with this long die, just so that you know, because that's what you get, and it's not, it does not line up. So just so that you know with that. And we're going to pop that to one side, and I will just show you how to create these clouds. So what I've done, I've actually cut out the two clouds, and then because I'm using the balmy blue cardstock, I can actually put the clouds, I can make white clouds rather than having to have blue clouds, because, you know, clouds are generally white. So all I've done is just gone ahead and used the craft white ink and my dauber, and just literally daubed on white ink to create my clouds. Let's go that and that one. Might just give myself another couple more clouds just down here. And then, well, now Holland has quite flat ground, so I figured I was fine to just do flat green at the bottom. So grab yourself just a scrap bit of paper. And where is this gonna sit? Let's just make sure that's gonna sit about right. Okay. So I wanted about there, and once again I'm just grabbing my dauber, and this time I'm going with the Granny Apple green colour. Try to make it so that your ground is going to be flat. If you have challenges with being a flat, then put yourself some grid paper underneath and line it up. So I'm quite lucky that I do have a good eye for seeing whether something is flat or not, and I'll probably take this off and go, oh, you know what, it's on an angle. That would be ironic, wouldn't it? So I'm just going to swipe on a heap of green. Do we think that I have a downhill slant? Very slightly, but you know what? I don't think it's going to matter too much. So we'll have that, and we'll have that. And we also have a little bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. And I won't burst out into the Queen's song. And then these pieces will come along here as well. Right. However, before we do that, we have to work out how to put this together. So I have worked out a way, because otherwise, if you just put it on top of each other, it doesn't really spin terribly well. So you will need to have a brad. I have to admit, I don't actually have any current brads, but Stampin' Up does have brads. So this is an old Stampin' Up brad. At least I'm still using Stampin' Up stuff, hey? And if you have a brad in your selection of stuff, then I'm pretty sure it would work. Then we need some of this stuff. So this is the double-sided puffy tapey stuff, which I have completely forgotten its name. Yeah, great. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, when I do my blog post on this, I will put the name of it down. How about that? I'm considerate like that. And I am, obviously this just wants to ping back out. So I'm going to make it into a circle because I want it to sit underneath this. And I don't really want it to show too much, so I'm just going to trim that circle down a tad more. Hopefully just a teeny bit more. I think that should do the job. Okay, now you don't want to pull off both sides of it, just so that you know. You only want to pull off one side. So take one side off and attach it onto there, like that, okay? Then find your stamping pierce mat. Excuse the fact that I have absolutely no idea where my stamping pierce mat has disappeared to at the moment. I have heaps of them and they're probably all out in my classroom because, you know, they're really useful out there when I don't have a class. But there you go. So you do need to make a hole going through this. So I'm just using my my pokey tool there and carefully making a hole. So you need the hole to be big enough that this will turn, and that is not it. It needs to be considerably bigger than that. Okay. And I managed to do this last time. I'm not sure how. I wonder if I would be better off. 1 second. If I can do this without kicking anything over. Seem to be having a bit of a habit of doing that. That one looks good. Okay, so we're just going to enter with a Stampin' Up product that again has retired, sadly, and see if I can just persuade that. That should do the job. Look at that. Yes, perfect. Not sure if they're still on the not retired list, clearance rack, but they were on the clearance rack, these ones, for ages. It's a, I don't know the size of it, I have to admit. Oh, here we go, 1/8 of an inch circle punch. Okay, oh, I'm going to need it through there as well. So you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and punch that one too. At least that way I know that it's going to be fine. All right, so then that can go through there. Now the reason you haven't taken this one off is because it's slightly slippery, so it will allow a little bit of a slippery bit on that. So let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Yes, excellent. Now what I will say is with this, you do not want it to go right hard up against it. So what I'm doing is I'm actually putting my this thing in the way so that it actually gives it a little bit of a gap. Let me show you. Hopefully, I'll just stand up here and see if I can show you that. So hopefully you can see that there's just a little bit of a gap in there. And again, I'm just going to pop that into there and fold it over top of that so it's just a little bit loose as opposed to being right tight up against it, because when it's loose it's actually going to spin like this, which is what you want. Okie dokes. So we have now made our windmill. Oh look, there's a bit of that still on there. Oops. However, you don't then want to put your windmill right down onto here, because again, it's not going to spin if it's right up against this, or at least I don't think it will. I didn't find it would, so just so that you know. So what I've done is I've actually taken some more of this, and we are going to take it down like that. Take a piece off there and add it onto there. And I wanted it double height, because I actually found that the double height was what worked. Let's just get rid of that. Okie dokes. So we've got double height of I want to call it dimensionals, but I know it's not called dimensionals. However, potentially you could use double height of dimensionals. And then this little guy can sit straight onto your card. Look at that. Woohoo! It works. Yay, yay. Happy with that. Then we are going to, oh, this is looking remarkably gluey now, so let's just remove some of the glue from this. If you don't have one of these, oh gee, I thoroughly recommend it. It is amazing for gluing on. It means you don't end up with big sticky patches all over your paper that you then have to try and avoid. So I just use my finger just to wipe off the excess glue on it. And there we go. Whoops. And let's just pop that straight into the bin. All right. So I want to add, oh, God, gluey everywhere. Glue, glue, glue. We need some of this. I think the fact that I had to turn the air conditioner off because I know that it kind of disrupts the video slightly and then you can't hear me so well. So I think the fact that I'm heating up the glue is actually getting even gluier, which is marvellous. Hey, in you go. There we go. So we're just going to pop our little bicycle down. And then add a bit of that to there. Kind of pop this little one on this side of the windmill. Hopefully it stays there and doesn't stay on my finger. Oh, do me a favour, get on there. And we will just So this one on this side of the windmill, and let's just run that around in there too. So what I did with this was I actually just put one so like down a little bit, so it looks like there's a bit of a stagger in the gate coming down. And the last things is just to add some of the little daffodilly bits. So I've cut out 3 different colours this time, because, you know, I don't really like making exactly the same card every time. Just a bit picky like that. Right, let's add... Oh, would you please get out of it? So we'll pop that one down, and we'll put... Gee, that would have been good had I actually had it the right way up and put glue onto it. Oh, bother it. My glue's drying awfully fast now. And that one. And let's see whether I can get this one the right way up, shall we? And that one. There we go. Then all that remains is to trim off the excess. 1, 2, 3. And you can either keep that or you can bin it. I went with binning it because I always end up with an awful lot of scrappy bits, and then I don't end up using them, and then they sit there and do nothing, and eventually I go, oh, why do I keep them? So there you go. Look at that. How cool are my windmills? There you go. So if you want to have a go at windmills, this actually comes, so the Tulip Fields and the Windmill Fields Dies actually does come as a bundle. So it is well worth, I'll put the details of the bundle below, but it's well worth getting the bundle because you get a 10% discount when you buy it together as opposed to buying them individually. I think that is it from me today. So thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, do share the love. So, you know, share it around and tell everyone about me because, you know, I'm absolutely amazing. And I will see you next Saturday. Thanks. Bye.